An emotional town hall meeting leads to the cancellation of a musical, why some of the subject matter sparked an uproar.
And are the new turnstiles helping students to feel more safe on campus, or are they just a hassle?
And food delivery robots causing problems in Oakland. We'll show you what's happening.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Good afternoon and welcome to Point News. I'm Allison Schubert.
And I'm Money Finley. A play canceled after causing controversy on Point Park's campus. I took a look at the stir surrounding the adding machine.
Point Park University recently canceled the musical Adding Machine as a result of students taking a stand against the racial language and undertones that the musical consists of.
Basically, how I felt about it was I did not think it was an appropriate show for us to do. I felt like it was a slap in the face to so many people here.
Plays that view people who are in a minority group and not in a favorable light. That just makes me feel like angry and disappointed in the school.
On November 21st, Dean of COPA Mr. Stephen Breeze conducted a town hall meeting where over 200 students attended to voice their opinions and concerns about the discomfort of the show.
In the beginning was quite disheartened that my school didn't feel like they were looking out for us, and it seemed insensitive, but now my mindset has changed.
I feel like there could be some improvements, but shutting down the play was a good idea.
Additionally, the show parade is another upcoming production that students are requesting to be canceled due to the similar racial undertones. The administration reassured students that they will begin the necessary conversation about the production. Here at the Pittsburgh Playhouse, my name is Money Finley reporting for Point News.
The doors are back open at La Gondola in Market Square. This after the breaking news story we brought you 2 weeks ago where fire broke out inside of Wing Hearts. It turns out that fire did a lot of smoke and water damage to La Gondola as well, but they were able to reopen for light of night. Meanwhile, just in time for Thanksgiving, Wing Hearts posted on Facebook that they had lots to be thankful for this year, starting with Pittsburgh firefighters.
Part of Boulevard of the Allies remains shut down this afternoon, nearly 2 weeks after a water main break. The break happened on private property belonging to PPG Place, shutting down the Boulevard of the Allies between Market Street and Wood Street. There is no word yet on when it might reopen.
An investigation is underway after a body was found in the water near Point State Park yesterday. The body was first spotted by a park ranger. All police have said is that the person found is a man and he was pronounced dead just before 9 a.m. The cause and manner of the death have not been determined. Over the Thanksgiving break, Point Park's University installed 4 turnstiles at each entrance in Lawrence Hall to help improve the security capacity of students on campus. The turnstiles were installed to combat the issue of unauthorized individuals entering the building behind students. In an email sent by Point Park Chief of Police Jeffrey B. Songcoat, these changes will greatly assist our officers in securing the buildings.
I definitely think there are better solutions. I think it might help, but it's definitely going to cause a lot of problems. There's going to be a lot more traffic. There's already a lot of traffic going in and out of these doors, and I think it would be more beneficial if they just had security guards at the desks that they already have.
The next planned building that has similar issues is West Penn, although the date of when the turnstiles will be installed is unclear. In Academic Hall, all visitors will still be required to sign in with a desk attendant, and all Point Park community members will tap in using their university ID cards.
The university's Boulevard Apartments has been experiencing lock issues for the past few weeks. And although some adjustments have been made, the locks still pose a problem to those living on the upper floors of the building. At the beginning of the semester, students had to swipe their IDs and enter a PIN to gain access to their apartments. When the system first glitched, all students had to do was push down on the handle to enter a room. As of 2 weeks ago, the ID swipe was again added, but the PIN that enhances the safety of the students has yet to be fixed. Physical Plant says the problem should be resolved over winter break.
It's the end of the road for one of the 16 Democrats seeking the presidential nomination next year. Senator Kamala Harris announced Tuesday that she's ending her bid. Senator Harris started off strong in the race but has dropped to the single digits in recent polling behind other candidates such as former Vice President Joe Biden and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. A new Pew Research study finds the religious landscape is changing in millennials. Our reporter Royce Jones shows us what they are turning to instead. Royce?
For decades, Christianity has been the #1 most popular religion in the United States. And in fact, it still is. For now, researchers say people are peeling out of the pews and they're turning the page on the monotheistic faith at faster and more noticeable rates than ever before.
What we were seeing with our own eyes was now being validated by this study.
Between 2007 and 2014, the Pew Research Center conducted their most recent of a sweeping religious landscape study, surveying more than 35,000 people. The survey showed an 8% drop in Christian affiliation within those 7 years. They've went on to conduct smaller-scale surveys that have turned out the same. People are ditching Christianity.
Something that we had all sensed was happening anyway over time, namely that the religious literacy or the religious background of the students in front of us in class was really changing and becoming much more amorphous.
Dr. Maureen O'Brien is an associate professor of theology and director of pastoral ministry at Duquesne. She's been with the university since 1997. She says this fleeing of faith has been gradual.
The baby boomers who rebelled or questioned religion did so out of a sense of a background that they already had.
O'Brien says with every generational wave, the Christian background, the framework she's speaking of, washes away more and more.
There's no battle anymore. It's not that kids are fighting about going to church or not going to church with their parents. The parents don't have it as a regular practice.
Out of the 73% of people in the Pew study who identified as Christian, most were baby boomers, then Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z barely hitting the chart. O'Brien says the students in her classroom aren't rebelling, they're just not into it.
You know, they're not arguing stridently against religion. They're not coming out and saying there's no God and nobody should believe in God. They're just, it's not that relevant to them.
O'Brien suggests part of the reason religion isn't sticking with the young folks is because we're always on the go. The young adult share of the U.S. population has the highest rates of migration, census data shows. We move about every 2 to 3 years. Barely enough time to unpack your dusty boxes of family heirlooms, let alone settle into a religious community.
Churches for a long time have relied upon kind of stable congregations. So that kind of pattern repeated all over the country, I think, has been a major factor in the collapse not only of church going and church communities, but civic organizations, social organizations.
It's a young and restless life with total control of just about everything we do day to day. So O'Brien says it's no shock, not even religion is being left to faith.
I think that people have become more spiritually eclectic too, so that as we were chatting about, meditation practices or yoga.
As a professor of theology to a generation of skeptics, Dr. O'Brien says her approach to teaching changes very often.
I've found myself adapting year by year. 20 years ago, there was more religious literacy, at least that students might know basic Bible stories, for example.
She says she's not trying to persuade anybody in her classroom, but does believe the key to success is knowing what others believe.
Many parts of our world, especially in the global south, religiosity is on the rise. But for people to be responsible citizens, they need to have a basic literacy and a basic sensitivity to, if not their own beliefs, the beliefs of others.
Convenience or menace? How food delivery robots are impacting lives in Oakland after this.
our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
Join EOP. And 3, 2, 1. Join EOP.
Grab them now, or else I will step
Yeah.
Join On Point with Politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back. Are they a convenience or a menace?
We're talking about food delivery robots in Oakland. As Point News reporter Nick Tomarello found out, they caused issues for at least one person who is physically challenged.
Move over Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Instacart. A San Francisco-based technology company is delivering a new way to order food and packages at the University of Pittsburgh. But the self-driving, cooler-like robots may not be as advanced as they say. At least, not yet.
So I kind of like wiggled around to the side, and it still wasn't moving, and I was still in the street, and like the light was coming up, so like I knew I needed to get out of the street, so I kind of panicked and just hopped around onto the curb, like to the side of the curb cut.
Starship announced back in August that the company has received an additional $40 million in funding and a partnership with the University of Pittsburgh and their food provider, Sodexo. According to the company's website, the Starship robots can carry items within a 4-mile radius, moving at the speed of a pedestrian, and weighing no more than 100 pounds. A grad student from the University of Pittsburgh, Emily Ackerman, understands the possibility delivery robots can bring, but not when they put people in danger.
So I was walking towards Plaza, and I was crossing the street with a group of people, and when I got into the street, I realized that one of the robots was sitting in the middle of the curb cut. And as I got closer to it, it hadn't moved at all. And then when I got all the way to it, it was still in the middle of the curb cut. And I knew that like sitting in front of it was not going to help because it's not going to move if you're sitting in front of it.
Starship released this statement in response, saying that the company is grateful when any potential issues are flagged, and challenged Ackerman's experience after reviewing footage of the incident, saying that she was able to travel past the robot without stopping. The University of Pittsburgh replied to Ackerman's tweet, saying that they have paused testing to review the technology farther. Since then, the robots have continued testing on Pitt's campus. Ackerman hopes that moving forward, Starship will take time to fix any issues and hire engineers, programmers, and designers in the disability community for businesses that are developing this type of technology.
The idea that a design team is responsible for coming up with this like all-inclusive design, I understand it's kind of ridiculous, right? And the only way that we're going to move towards doing that and being as inclusive as possible is by putting disabled people in the driver's seat and really like taking that experience into account when we're planning and designing new technology. So I really implore like all companies to hire disabled people to be part of your design teams.
An organization promises to create new jobs by 2025.
Our reporter Taylor Spirito shows us who will be impacted by this.
The Swartwood family in Erie, Pennsylvania looks like the picture-perfect posse. Mom Tracy and Dad Rob have 3 healthy children. Alyssa is the youngest at 8 years old and Braden is in the middle at 9. The oldest is 19-year-old Tyler.
I'm my mother's son, Tyler.
Tyler has autism spectrum disorder. According to the Center for Disease Control, autism spectrum disorder is a social disorder that affects 1 in 59 children as of 2018. Boys are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism compared to girls. Tyler was diagnosed when he was 2 years old.
I recall him being very busy. There was like a big whiteboard and he was drawing on it and they said like that was okay.
Tyler's family knew there would be struggles, but they wanted to get him as well adjusted to the real world as they could. They put him into programs to help his social skills and later job programs, like the ones the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation offers. Tyler went on job shadows throughout his time in high school.
They would add more hours like every year of high school and he would get to do it more and more. He would basically have like a job coach and they would go and kind of show him the ropes and what needed to be done.
When Tyler graduated from high school in 2018, everything changed. The Swartwoods went in for a meeting with OVR where they were told the job program was out of funding.
I was more like shocked and taken back because like I said, I thought like we were getting the process rolling, so he and I were very excited, so that was like a big disappointment.
Disappointment to say the least. Tyler, with his black belt in Taekwondo, was left with no next step.
I can do the work. Great. And as long as I have the perfect focus.
To maintain that perfect focus, Tyler has to be interested, like he is with Power Rangers and his favorite TV show, Super Sentai. Right now, his focus is on his want for a job and the things that he misses the most about working.
The money you earned and the hard work and the respect.
That hard work and respect is hard to come by. According to National Core Indicators, 81% of adults 18 and over with developmental differences do not have a paid job in the community. Tyler's family says that his personality would make him an asset to any company.
He's respectful, responsible. He's very kind. I think that's it. I think he's very sweet, kind, respectful, responsible, and he's caring for one another.
He's smart and funny and responsible.
Mostly.
The Swartwoods are taking the job search into their own hands. On October 24th, Tracy posted this on her Facebook to tell her friends to keep their eyes open for job openings. She says she got a few responses, but didn't follow through with any of them.
It does make me a little nervous. I don't want things to backfire, to throw him into something.
And Tyler isn't alone in his search for employment. And for that 81%, there's hope. On October 21st, 2019, Autism Speaks, Best Buddies, and the Special Olympics announced Delivering Jobs, a campaign aimed to create 1 million jobs for people with conditions like autism by 2025.
He's very good at making social things. Yeah. Okay, I think he would be a great YouTuber, professional.
Being a YouTuber may be some people's goals, but Tyler says his dream is to work someplace small.
Place called Steve's. Sells stuff, like things like groceries, toys, and also shampoo and all that stuff. Stuff to clean your teeth, toothbrush, you know that.
For Point News in Erie, Pennsylvania, I'm Taylor Spirito.
The Pittsburgh Steelers were back in action this past Sunday in a much-anticipated match against the Cleveland Browns. After all of the turmoil of the last matchup between the rivals, third-string quarterback Devlin Hodges got the nod from head coach Mike Tomlin. After a slow start from the black and gold, Hodges led the charge in the second half to put the Steelers up 20-13. Hodges and the Steelers play next in Arizona on Sunday.
The Penguins recovered from their 2-game losing streak last night for a 3-0 win over the St. Louis Blues. This after a 5-2 loss to the Blues in the first game of a home series with St. Louis. Penguins newcomers Stefan Noesen made his presence known to the Pens when he scored the third and final goal of the game in the third period. The Penguins will be at home again tomorrow to host the Arizona Coyotes. And that's all for this week. Thank you for watching.
This also brings the semester to a close. Thank you for watching all semester long, and remember, Point News will be back next semester with more news from around campus and around the world. Have a great winter break, Pioneers.